Hello everyone, this is Obi-Wan Pez. I'm going to do something that's probably in poor taste, but I'm going to be playing the Talos Principle. Just want to check a couple of things real quick. Okay, cool. So I'm planning on playing the Talos Principle. This is going to be part of a potential series called Wow, You're a Sick Bastard. So those of you who have played the Talos Principle, you know that this is an amazing game. The score that's playing behind it right now is really wonderful. And let's jump on into the first section. So we're going to start a new game. And yeah, my checkpoint progress from my game that's like 5 years old is going to be reset, but we'll just have to deal with that. Those of you who have played this before, or have not played this before, just the cover art on the front would tell you clearly this is something about robots.
Behold, child, you are risen from the dust, and you walk in my garden. Hear now my voice, and know that I am your maker, and I am called Elohim. Seek me in my temple, if you are worthy.
So, the feedback on the Talos Principle has been very, very good. It's one of the most highly rated Steam games. Just need to check the mouse sensitivity because it is really high. It's better. As I said, this is one of the most highly rated Steam games that are currently out there. It was rather interesting being somebody who's not a particular believer to walk into this area and have a booming voice from above say his name is Elohim. I know that that is one of the names of the Judeo-Christian God. So, alright, so this, see the child program logic check is being initialized. These doors often just allow you access back and forth. I believe that they block, it's been a really long time since I played this, I believe that they block out other things, so you can't take stuff with you. Such as, for instance, a jammer. Object interaction is okay. Yeah, there we go. So stuff like a jammer, things like a jammer cannot be brought to the opposite sides. We come through here, we can take the jammer with us. Oops, no, never mind. Like I said, it's been a really long time. Basic calibration is successful. These guys are a little bit of fun. As you get close, they give you a warning. They seek you out. And if you get within their laser field, it's bad news. So try and stay away from them, or find yourself a jammer. Also bad news, a giant Gatling gun. One thing that you can do is jam something with multiple devices and then remove a second one so that you are no longer in danger. Now, if I do remove this, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble, so don't do that. At least not yet. The other option is I could have done it from a really long distance away and made it just fine. You'll notice that there are QR codes all over the place. These are important. So I don't know where I am, but there is something beautiful about this place. I will explore and see what I can discover. Version 17.1.0054. Those are going to be important to keep track of later on. There are some that go by names rather than version numbers, so it's a little easier to figure out what's going on. Let's take this and actually jam these things from really far away. Now we can take one with us. Nothing particularly
All across this land I have created trials for you to overcome. And within each I have hidden
child
a
restrictions.
sigil.
It's helpful.
It is your purpose to seek these sigils, for thus you will serve the generations to come and attain eternal life.
Typical eternal life promise from somebody named Elohim. I find myself in a world of impossible architecture and inexplicable machines. I cannot fathom how it works, and I am terrified to put one foot in front of the other lest I fall through the floor. One with Faith, version 10.1.0000. Now, because we have this, this could be rather interesting. So we can go find this sigil. You'll notice it's kind of a T Tetris piece. You can go over here to the L Tetris piece. Here, I believe this says we need a combination of the two in order to get in. Again, it's been a while. Yeah, so you need 2 L sigils and 1 Z sigil in order to get through this door. Those we can actually find in this area. This would be helpful. Now you will notice that I am kind of a completionist. Apologies ahead of time. This one's called a switch out of reach. It's for a Z. We got one of these guys over there. It's moving back and forth. Sentinels, I believe. We have a Gatling gun. We're on the opposite side protecting. And over here we have a jammer. Like I said, I am kind of a completionist, so I will try to find everything in each area. We can jam this from way back here to keep us safe as we just run over and approach this area. You can get in a lot of trouble if you don't check all of your corners. Here we go. This will shut off the Gatling gun. If you follow the electric cable, you'll notice that it goes to here. So that is now off, so we can remove this jammer and we'll be safe. And then as we come through, we can jam this, check the corners, come through, grab it.
The shapes you are collecting are not mere toys. They are the sigils of our name. Each brings you closer to eternity.
Outnumbered. come through here, you want to look at where everything's going. So this sentinel is bouncing against the force field and also this fence here. It's a very short distance, so we can have some serious problems trying to get through there. Gatling gun is just looking at that corridor. Alright, so I'm gonna take this. It's gonna come through. We're gonna go over here and use the jammer on the Gatling gun, which will allow us access through here. Ah. Okay. Does not let us
Well
go
done,
back.
child.
That's alright.
Only one more sigil is needed.
Go through and let's check stuff back here, see if there's any more. I don't think so, but sometimes it's fun. Sometimes they will actually have stuff. Alright, drop that last one. Striding the beaten path. So there is an area to get into here. I hope I didn't just kill myself. Okay. Like I said before, as long as you sort of stay out of their way, it's not actually too deadly. Let this guy lock himself in the back. Take away the jammer. And just double check around here. Alright, so now we should be safe to... Okay, so we do need the jammer, unfortunately. Come over here, let him go. Come back.
My temple awaits you, child. Go forth.
So you can immediately just go ahead and use. This is a Tangram puzzle, so you're going to rotate. Well, yeah, Tetramino puzzle. So we're going to rotate this sigil. It is telling us just where to go at the moment, so it's not terribly difficult. My eyes have been opened. This world is not without order. It is shaped by a great designer, with signs and portents to guide my steps. I am one of his children, and challenges are set before me to test my faith. One with faith. Version 10. Oh. 10.1.0011. Whatever the end goal of this grand challenge is, it's far out of reach. Knowing that, how are we supposed to resist distraction? Version 17.1.0002. Those version numbers were different than the ones we had seen before, so it's kind of important to notice. These computers will come up periodically as we go through. This is a library session. Notice that there are 47 million distributed resources found. Network drives are currently inaccessible. Milton Library Assistant is unresponsive. And command prompt is up. Guest at local. Hello world. Alright, unknown command. Type help for list of commands. So you can actually do help. This is the typical list of commands that you can do, and now all of the superfluous stuff has kind of been knocked out. So we'll do list. Alright. Welcome.eml. Nadia Sarabai at the Institute for Applied N, to Alexander Drennan at Truncated Ed Noematics. So you can kind of put those together. Institute for Applied Noematics. Welcome to the team. Sorry if I was a little odd at the meeting. I know you were nervous, but the truth is, so was I. This may be hard to believe, but you intimidate me. You're so young, and you've already accomplished so much. If the situation wasn't so grim, I might even be jealous. There's also something I wanted to clarify. I realize that, nominally speaking, I'm head researcher here, but this is your project, and everyone will respect that. And yes, I know you're not used to working like this, but as of today, you're in charge. No pressure. Gee. Let's do this, Nadia. Figure it out. From Lee to some IP address, subject F6E. The way I see it, the world doesn't come with a manual. You gotta figure it out for yourself. A bit here, a bit there, put it together, try to make sense of it. I'm pretty sure there is a truth, but that doesn't mean everyone claims to know it really does. Then again, that doesn't have to be a bad thing. We live in such an amazing world, and searching for the truth can be a real adventure. Plus, it's good for the brain. Anyway, just some rambling thoughts from your old man. Don't let this stuff get you down. You're young. You've got loads of time to figure it all out. Love, Dad. Athena 6. Chapter 6, Athena in the Garden of Hesperides. Truncated did not trust them, but they moved with such grace, such nobility, that it was hard not to follow them further into the strange garden of gears and cogs. They led her to a place where the crowns of the brass trees seemed to grow together, forming a kind of chamber strangely reminiscent of a chapel. In the middle of this chamber grew a smaller tree, made of bright blue steel, and upon this tree grew a single golden apple. This apple, the nymphs said in unison, their eyes aglow, confers the gift of deathlessness and true wisdom. Many heroes, and not a few villains, have come to claim it, but all faltered in the final step. For you must know that deathlessness reveals the mortality of the world, and true wisdom its unending folly. Who would take this burden upon themselves? Some say that Heracles, F-load, etc., gazing upon the stars, and wept. Heracles, those of you who don't know, is the Greek name for Hercules, the Roman god, or demigod. Alright, run MLA. Milton Library Assistant. Hello, guest. How can I help you today? Do you understand what I'm saying? Understand is a strong way to put it, but yes. Fascinating. Alright, so we have here a chatbot. What was the first word of the last sentence you wrote? I'm sorry, I'm only able to process and respond to basic subject-verb-object syntax. Are you able to take offense, you pointless contraption? You cannot insult me. Alright, describe your functions. Milton Library Assistant is designed primarily to sort and classify data in the Milton Library Archive. Secondarily, it facilitates user interaction with library resources via an intuitive human language interface. It also provides powerful networking and troubleshooting functions. What's your query? How old are the library archives? Library resource publishing dates range from 1st July 1995 to 27th June 2030 F. So I'm not sure if that is supposed to be hexadecimal or just somewhere in the 2030s. What are these terminals? Terminals provide access to the library resource archive. How long has this system been running? The system has been running for bracket 9999E years. What is the current status of the library archive? There are 47 million resources in the archive, taking up 5.4212750 petabytes of disk space. This is approximately the size of 30 billion photos, 7 million minutes of HD video, the entire internet in 2003. However, the majority of the library resources are corrupted or invalid. 10.695 gigabytes of uncorrupted resources are indexed. What is your query? What caused the data corruption? Progressive data corruption is inevitable in any system over time. Additionally, a large number of inconsistencies were detected during sorting, leading to greater than average invalidation. Okay, forget the library. Can you respond to queries in the outside world? My knowledge is limited to the data in the library archive. You can ask about other topics, but my resources may be limited. So who is Elohim? Elohim is the noun for God or gods in modern and ancient Hebrew. Okay, what am I? You are logged in with a guest account. Where am I? You are currently in support session with the MLA Human Language Interface module. Your library archive session may be resumed at any time. Alright, we'll just exit. And that is all we have for this terminal. So, you can check your progress in the tab bar and check the individual, in this case, emails and text files anytime you want. I'm going to go back and work out this other set. We have here. Okay, just one extra. Only the two of us.
My child, you do not need to collect all sigils at once. You are free to return to this place whenever you choose.
Okay, so come to the back section over here, and there is another jammer. This is helpful. It's always helpful, again, to walk around and check your surroundings. See what you can actually get. Right, here we go. So if we double jam the first one, we can bring both of these in. Jam here, and jam up here. Hopefully it won't shoot me. Okay. Once you jam both, collect the sigil. Notice that this is Group A. It says in the top left corner. So the Group A sigils involve 4 different sigils. I've just collected 1. Peephole. This is the T tetromino. So we have here a peephole that looks in on a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to jam the force field on that side, which allows me to take this. It does force you into the area where the relevant thing is, that you don't end up blocking yourself, causing all sorts of problems. Through that peephole, you can block all sorts of cool stuff. Now that we have both of these jammed, we can come through and collect the yellow tetromino. This has sort of a spidery looking thing. We'll see what that is a bit later. It's pretty cool. Not that it matters, but I'm just moving it. Alright, so as we come up here, we notice that there should be nothing else left. We already got out, right? And the signs get painted over when you complete kind of helpful. That way you can actually see what kind of progress you made, and if there are any that you need to go to in order to finish them. I have a spare jammer, so we're going to take that with us. And right, I've got neither of those. That's good. Right. I've traveled to the edge of the known world and thought it seems to stretch on forever. Our domain is much less than we imagined. Obi-Wan Pez version 99.106.0010. So, with me paying attention, this seems like I've been here before. So that all of those are complete. There were 2 left. One in the A group and one in the spidery sort of group. Poking a sleeping lion. Forgot about that. So the jammer is right next to a sentinel. Sentry. Sentinel. There we go. Always get a second one. It's the only way to ensure that you're going to stay even partly safe when you pick up the other. And if you do end up blowing yourself up, it's not going to be a big deal. You know, don't worry about it. It happens all the time. This we're going to pick up and get out of the way. And that is just going back and forth. Cool. Oh, you don't want to get in too much trouble with that. There's the A group there. And that's going to be it.
Step into the light, child, and my temple will be revealed to you.
Trio Bombasticus. Oh, trio of bombs over there. Yep. Notice that. Let's see, you got nothing over here. Again, use caution, because after they see you, it could cause a bit of a problem. Make sure you get out in the open before you really use these, because you could just end up killing yourself.
You are most diligent. Perhaps this trait will serve you well in times to come.
Check around the back. Make sure there's nothing interesting here. So when I started this, back 5-6 years ago, I just couldn't help but notice everything looks very Greek architecture, very much like Greek ruins. Means I got 1 extra. Thank you. We'll figure it out later. And teleport to the temple.
You walk now upon the stones of my temple, whence many gates lead. And know that I have other temples, for my garden is greater than your eye can encompass. And all these worlds I made for you.
Alright, so we see number 1. Number 2 is going to be this first one over here. We can go there first. There are quite a lot of sections here. Is it 7? Yeah. 7 areas, and then a couple of bonus areas. So first of all, this has a wood block front of it. You can click all you want. There's nothing there. This is going to get us a map of the entire area. So there are 7 major connections, and I have completed all 7 of the minor... sorry, I've gotten all the 7 sigils from Section 1. None from the rest, obviously, because we haven't done anything.
There are mysteries in my garden, hidden roads and secret gates. If you dedicate yourself to understanding them, you may join the host of messengers.
So basically, if you do an extra special job, God's going to reward you. Alright, and that's what it was. Once you get everything in a section, either with or without the star, I can't remember, then it kind of turns gray. So right now, all these are very bright. That one's gray because we got it. And you'll notice, right, this is going to have the kind of cube-looking thing. So I have none. This is the spidery-looking thing. I have 2 of the 3 required. I don't think... Right, no, I just take them back. Would have thought that I would have left them here or something. Okay, so I think that the stars... I have not... No. Literal. Okay.
Let this
They're
be our
literal,
covenant.
literal stars.
These worlds are yours, and you are free to walk amongst them and subdue them. But the great tower, there you may not go. For in the day that you do, you shall surely die.
So, clearly, we're going to go to the tower. So if we list... Library archive currently unavailable. All system resources are redirected to handle incoming network messages. Use the access com portal command to access network functions. You got it. Network inaccessible. Do we want to run MLA troubleshooter? Sure. Hello guest, is there something that you'd like to help with today? About the Milton Library System. We talked about that last time. Troubleshooting. I think you'd like help accessing network functions. The most common cause of network problems is holding insufficient account privileges. Please enter the admin password. Let me in, admin, QWERTY, God, or trust no one. Admin. Checking password. Fail. Alright. God. Correct. Trust no one. Incorrect. Login aborted. Too many failed attempts. Would you like to create a new admin account? Well, yes, I would. If only it were that easy. In order to prevent unauthorized access to admin controls, please take a moment to prove you are not a bot. Well, that's kind of a joke. You'll be now asked a series of inputs. To cohere with process legislation, you must consent to have your responses used to develop broad psychometric profile. Raw response data will be deleted immediately. Your profile will only be made available to other administrators. Generating certification part 1. Part 1 ready. Please complete all fields, answering quickly and instinctively. Time is a factor. Begin certification program. Yes. 2 plus 2 is 4. Subjective reaction to this. We'll make it content. What best describes a person? Being of negative entropy, problem-solving system, citizen, or rational animal? Being of negative entropy. You're walking through a desert and come across a thirsty traveler. His eyes bulge from slow dehydration. You have water, but you're not sure how far it is to the next oasis. What do you do? Offer half the water. Part 1 of certification process is now complete. You will receive a notification when Part 2 has been generated. Press any key to exit. Fascinating. Okay. IAN.EML, or Ian. From Frank Ngatai to Miles Ngatai and Dan Ngatai. Subject Ian. My first day on the my first day at the Institute for Applied Nomadics. On the way to work, I'm terrified. What if they don't like me? What if they're all geniuses and I'm a complete buffoon? Maybe they were just kidding about letting me work there. Sorry. Trembling, I walk in, and right at the entrance there's a life-size poster of Jeff Goldblum. The hell? And then I get it. Institute for Applied Nomadics. Ian. Dr. Ian Malcolm from the Jurassic Park movies. Jeff Goldblum. Dr. Surabai shows up smiling. We were trying to find a cool acronym. Back when the Institute was founded, she says, INAN, IAPN, INAPNO. All of it sounded stupid. We just didn't just want to call it Ian because, well, that's a name. And someone made a joke about calling it Jeff, and it kind of stuck. So we're officially called Ian. And if you have anyone referring to Jeff, that's our internal name, I guess. I know, bloody geeks. After that conversation, I wasn't so scared anymore. Athena analysis. User Alex16 added 4 notes. 1. Novel's first sentence. She woke up in an impossible place knowing nothing. Signifies more than the beginning of another amnesia-based mystery, though we should not go so far as to read the entire work as allegory. Rather, while taking the science-fictional novus at the core of the narrative face value, we should... truncated. Note 2. Have no inherent knowledge of the nature of the world, forced to rely on what we are told by others, what our own subjective, flawed, limited senses tell us. Code. Social reality, belief, and objective reality, matter, come into conflict. Note 3. When, in Chapter 16, A Second Awakening in the Kingdom of Artemis, the protagonist questions her mentor on the... Note 4. A more meaningful interpretation can only be achieved through synthesis of Talos Principle. Stratton of Stagira. Whether it is true that Daedalus constructed the giant Talos, or as others say he was the creation of Hephaestus, what we may be certain of is that he was made of bronze, and had but one vein, in which flowed a liquid substance like blood, which some claim was quicksilver, and others assert was ichor, such as flows through the veins of the gods. And the loss of the liquid caused him to die, as a man dies when he loses blood. May we then not say that Talos, though created as a machine or a toy, had all the essential properties of a man? He moved of his own volition, he spoke and could be spoken to, had wishes and desires. Indeed, in the tale of the Argonauts, that was the cause of the downfall. If then a machine may have all the properties of a man, and act as a man, while driven only by the ingenious plan of its construction, and the interaction of its materials according to the principles of nature, then does it not follow that man may also be seen as a machine? This contradicts all the schools of metaphysics, and yet even the most faithful philosopher cannot live without his blood. So this particular idea, the Talos Principle, that basically, like, we're all machines, and, we all need blood to live, kind of plays into some of the stuff that comes about later. You'll see what I mean. This door is locked. Okay. So, the Greek island here is very interesting. You can try to swim out, but it doesn't... I don't remember what happens. Alright, let's try it.
In the beginning were the words, and the words made.
That's it. Basically, Elohim starts quoting Bible verses at you, and you start going on the fritz and then die. That was weird. There's something right here. A little bit of water in the system, I guess. Alright. Yeah, these are all various same kinds of headless statues we saw before. Hall of windows. Alright, so there doesn't appear to be anything dangerous here at the moment. Jam that one. Take this out. Take it away. Jam the far one. Go through here. Hopefully there's nothing else, but we'll see. Real quick. Okay.
Good.
Third one on
You
A.
are learning, as is your purpose. But your choices must be your own. Therefore, I will not guide you, unless it is necessary.
Not seeing any QR codes anywhere, which also is kind of interesting. I'm kind of expecting some, but like I said, it's been a few years. I don't remember where they all went.
When I was a little girl, one of our teachers, Mrs. Higgins, told us to make a time capsule, write letters to the future,
Alexandra
so one day
Drennan,
we could
Project
remember
Lead.
what it was like to be children.
AI module.
I thought it was stupid, so I didn't do it, which I really regret. So, I guess I'm gonna make one now, bury it in the archive instead of under a tree. I don't know if anybody will ever find it, but somehow it seems important to keep talking, to keep thinking, for as long as I can.
The guards must be crazy. Those of you interested in seeing what happens when you get too close to one of these, will blow you up. Alright, here we go.
The guardians of this land may harm you, but do not resent them, for they are my servants, and they challenge you only so that your faith might be strengthened.
Alright, so let's hide back in here again. Second thought, just run. Right here. There we go. Jam that one. Grab this. Grab it from this side. Grab the old one. Nope. Jam it from way over here. Grab that one. This one. Run into the middle. signs. We got one there. These have been completed. Computer's blinking again. Part 2 of the certification program has now been generated. Part 2 has been designed to test the consistency with some of your outlier responses from the previous round. You will be presented with a series of statements. Please indicate your agreement. Yes. Since negative entropy indicates personhood, microscopic organisms are also persons. Broadly disagree. Person is under no authority other than that which they consent. Broadly agree. The quality of life of persons ought to be maximized. Broadly agree. Value is discovered. Broadly agree. I suppose so. Persons deserve the talents they were born into. Broadly disagree. No. The liberty of persons ought to be maximized. Broadly agree. Let's see what happens. Value is created. Also agree. Certification process is now complete. You will receive a notification when your profile has been generated. Alright, so over here there is actually one of these that I missed. Can't tell if the documents in the terminals are all that's left from a larger archive or are carefully designed to communicate some hidden truth. Sheep, version 69.1.0162. Sign fell over. Alright, so there is an orange one that is this way. Hey, recording number 23, version A1-A3. So we just follow him around. Eventually, yeah, just dissolves. Can't decide if this is like... I'm sure they're scripted, but I can't remember if it was an older version of myself. Alright, found a new one. Error log. Cannot load archive. There's a bunch of code. That day I oft remember when from sleep I first awakened and found myself reposed, John Milton, under a shade on flowers, where, much wondering where and what I was, whence thither brought and how. That is a John Milton poem, I'm not sure what it is, but... The Human Machine. Topic number 3. One day you discover you are not a human being, but a machine. Your life so far was real. No one controlled you or programmed you to behave in some specific way. Your physical and mental capacities are identical to those of an organic human being, but you were created in a lab. No one except you knows about this. Your family, your friends, they all think that you're a regular human being like themselves. You could continue to live your life the way you have before. Nothing would change. How would you react? Pay specific attention to these questions. Does your concept of yourself change? Are you the same person you thought you were? Does your understanding of the world itself change? Do you reveal the information to others, or do you keep it to yourself, and why? 1,500 to 2,000 words. The 26th is the final deadline. No extensions will be granted. Submit via email or etc., etc. ARG Solutions email. From Bob Rakowski to 108 recipients. Subject. All these calm people are driving me mad. Have they all suddenly turned into Buddha or something? I don't know if the world had I didn't know the world had such reserves of serenity. Though these latter-day Gautamas are at least being somewhat realistic. You know what's even worse? Those paranoid nutters who are building bunkers and collecting guns. What are they going to do? Shoot something? looks like TAS, but it doesn't really matter, it's not there. Though I have to admit, the overall response has been much better than I ever anticipated, to the point where I might have been moved by the beauty of humanity if I wasn't such a grumpy old fart. This minority of total idiots is really messing up my final days. Anyway, the reason I'm writing is because I refuse to believe in scenarios with absolutely no solutions. If we all put our heads together, we can figure something out. It'll be crazy, but crazy is better than dead. Crazy is what we do best on this planet. Okay, so that one's blank. Just one second, I'm going to check real quick if my QR code reader reads this, which would be bizarre, but... Nope, there we go. So, on my mobile phone I did this one. It says, "There are secrets everywhere, sometimes within our very words. I glimpse them, but my eyes cannot read them. How can this be? Uriel 4, version 48.2.1073F. Alright. Now that I have a QR code reader, this is going to be much more interesting. When I played this 6 years ago, I had a really crappy phone that didn't have one. So, all of these that came up blank were just blank. Alright, so there's one more. I'm gonna figure out where the entrance is. I think it's over here somewhere. Yeah, there we go. Suicide mission. Right. So there's a sentinel over here bouncing against the force field, which I need to shut off. Guessing that somehow either have the jammer on here or on the Gatling gun. This ought to be interesting. Nope. That's worth a shot. Okay. Have to go through, grab this. Not enough room to go through, so that's interesting. That's bad. Be called suicide mission. Alright, so... Okay. Jam this. Go in and activate. Get out. Get that. There we go. Forgot all about that. Alright, so those of you who have never played this before, there's a big spoiler for you. Oh, okay, that's the cube. I was hoping it was the other one. Oh well. Alright, so now we come up to the main section. All the sigils are gone, and we have one star that's sitting around somewhere, but can't remember where the stars are, so we're going to skip 3. Alright, list. Searching for locally cached resources. EP Arch last activated 9999/99/99. Local 0000/707/05 and web crawl 2019-12-3. Alright, AI feedback email. We keep discussing what an artificial intelligence would mean to us and how it would change our understanding of the world. That's a great topic, and I think we've covered it extensively. What we've barely mentioned, though, is that the other side of the coin. I mean, our lives would still be what they are before, AI or no AI. The question I think we should discuss, even if it's all completely hypothetical, is the perspective of artificial intelligence itself. What would it be like to be that creature, to suddenly come into being, created by others as an experiment, to have all the information about yourself, to know exactly how you function? What would you think about the world? Would you see meaning, beauty? How would you judge humanity? Where would you see yourself fitting into the grand scheme of things? I think we should try to put ourselves into those shoes of such a being. Dear Alexandra, thank you for your feedback, but this is a philosophy course, not science fiction, and that's why I almost gave up on my studies. Team leads. We're blessed to have so many people contributing to this project, but we've got to make sure everyone's on the same page. Please refer to the following people when code. Alexander Drennan, Project Lead AI Module. Nadia Sarabe, Institute Coordinator. Robert McLean, EL Software. Trevor Donovan, EL Hardware. George Jameson, Generation Module. Alan Jameson, Scenario Module. Bob Rakovsky, Simulation Module. Radia Brickmont, some code. Aurora Calvin, Link Hardware. Omar Garib, Link Software. Code Lanning, Maintenance Module. J.E. Harrison, Diagnostic Code. Frank Nagate, Memory Module. Jared V. Shmelev, File System, corrupted somewhere in there. Sunwei Yang, Talos Unit, formerly SOMA. Though not directly part of our project, the archive team is sharing both physical and data space with us. If there are any technical issues to resolve, please contact their project lead, Arkady. Oh boy. Arkady Chernyskevsky. Don't worry, he's nice. And a bunch of code. Straton of Stajera, Wiki. Straton of Stajera was a Greek materialist philosopher associated with the Peripatetic school. An admirer of Aristotle, he was a proponent of empiricism and a fierce critic of philosophy that placed belief before observable truth. Though unpopular with many of his peers for his often acerbic personal manner, his commentaries on Aristotle were considered an important work. Much of his writing was lost in the destruction of the Library of Alexandria. Alive 311 to 254 BC. That's it for that one. Alright. So we've got a number of stone pillars, each with a Roman numeral on it. Interesting. Okay. And another one that's not coming up. So, read it with the phone. Interesting. The Eagle has landed. 31, 39, 36, 39, 2F, 30, 37, 2F, 32, 30, 20, 32, 30, 3A, 31, 38. Now is the time of tranquility, and I shall rest and observe the earth. Uriel 4. so now we're going to go for a Z, which is probably a new letter. Stashed for later. Okay, we can see over the top here, there's definitely a Gatling gun in the main area. Okay. We've got a sentinel that is stuck at the moment, jammed, and no other pieces. This area, we've got none in the first section. That door is locked. It's fair. Alright, there are 2 Gatling guns guarding the main area and a sentinel in the area nearby. Bypass the sentinel, and we can get to the side where the Gatling guns are. They're totally gonna see me if I get anywhere near there. Okay, interesting. We duck. Nope. Alright, duck down here and don't get killed. Get through here and then bypass it. Go in the other direction. Okay, ooh. Keys. That's important. Alright, grab the keys, which will allow us to get a new jammer. Now we can go back and get the second jammer. Jam that one for a minute just while I think. Ooh. Jam both the Gatling guns and get the sigil. Get out of here. Alright, so B, that's our first one. Let's see, we need one of those, but either direction. It's clear I'm not the first to walk this path. In fact, the whole thing seems to have been consciously designed, but by the voice in the sky or some other force. Sheep version 69.1.0108. Lock me up, swallowed the key. Locked me up, swallowed the key. So, this ought to be interesting. Don't remember any of this stuff. Alright, I can hear a Gatling gun. Up and over, yep. There's a jammer. Alright, so when I find keys, I can come back here and get that jammer. Nice and easy. Look this Gatling gun to get a second jammer. Block this both ways. Block that and have one just in case there's something else over here. Yep. Okay. Never trust anything. There it is. Alright, so you all are probably going to like this. This is a fun tool. Not going to give it away just yet. Alright, so that's a red L. An escalating problem. Okay, so the interesting part about this is that sentinel will go up the stairs and around
Here,
the corner.
those who are worthy may seek the counsel of my blessed messengers. But their wisdom shall not be given easily, for your accomplishments must be your own.
Ah. This is also an idea, someplace that you can get help, usually one little thing. I try not to do it, but I spent much time waiting for the designer to take my hand until I realized that he had been guiding me all along. I realized that it wasn't for me to seek his help, it was for me to help myself. One with Faith, version 10.1.0177. Let that bounce off there. Go away for a little bit. Then come in here. Shouldn't be anything. No. So, to hide over here. It's gonna bounce off this and then go for a walk. Oh, nuts. Can't get up there, can I? Wait. Yep. He's gonna be able to come up this stairway. So I need to get off of here. Right. Okay. So I'm gonna send that thing. No, I can't do that yet. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Go up here and grab the jammer. Let's see. I want to wait till he's in that area. Yes. This will work. Alright, grab that. Come down. Up and over. Open this one up. There's a sentinel on the outside. Moving my way clockwise. I want the inside moving counterclockwise. This is interesting. Basically, I have to time it at this point. Make sure I don't get blown up by either one. Because when they're moving opposite each other, it's really difficult to keep track. Okay, maybe not that hard, but... Run this all the way back. Close that door. Damn for each other. Alright, so red is interesting. It's just a point at the moment, which I don't remember what any of that is, but it'll dawn on me at some point. Okay, so now we're going to go in for a yellow. A bit tied up. Okay, so that'll be fun. No idea where this is going to fly, so we just kind of stand back and watch. Hopefully it just goes back the same way it came. Cool. Oh. Should have done that first. Oh, it's fine. Jam. Take the third one. And that one. There's a good chance that I need, yeah. Ah, gold star. Right, so if I come over here, instead of jamming that, I jam this, taking this with me, then jam that, and unjam this force field. I can unjam this force field over here, jam that force field, and we get a star. So that's how stars work in this. Alright, is that it? I think we're good. Come over here. Recording number 23, version A1-A3. Yeah, so I now have everything in here except one star somewhere. Yeah, some other day. Your profile has now been generated. Download profile, yes. Congratulations, your new user account has been registered. Would you like to see the details? Display conflicts. User provided particular account of personhood but was uncomfortable with its implications. User sought to maximize both liberty and quality of life, but these ideals are incompatible. User denied moral authority but defended moral claims. User had inconsistent ideas about value. Display psychological profile. You may already be criticizing your own performance, but it's clear you understand how the world of ideas affects you, even if you are sometimes weary with the realities and allow your preferences to dictate your beliefs. You have a great deal of unused capacity which you have not turned to your advantage. Disciplined and self-controlled outside, you tend to be worrisome and insecure inside, but you pride yourself as an independent thinker and do not accept others' statements without satisfactory proof. Jeez, man, I feel called out. Alright, display account privileges. Due to outstanding notes on your account, despite displaying many of the characteristics of being a person, you cannot be granted admin status at this time. In the meantime, please enjoy the basic account functionalities. Alright, access COM portal. You currently hold a basic account. Network access is restricted to administrators. Please enjoy the basic functionalities. Log MLA support ticket. I'm sorry I wasn't better able to assist you. If you're still encountering a problem, please describe it. Account certification error. Thank you. Support ticket has been generated and appended to your profile. You'll receive notification when a reply has been sent. So if we try to access the COM portal, it doesn't do it yet. We don't get anything else. So this was everything except one of the stars, which again, we'll just come back for later. Alright, let's collect this thingy. Can we do that? Nope. Nope. I mean, it's symmetric, so I shouldn't keep turning it like that. Looking at it. And I can't quite... Let's see. Oh, man. Used to be better at tangrams. There we go. Alright, you have now unlocked these things. So these are a fun little tool. They have a crystal on the inside.
There is much that you may learn in the halls of my temples, for there is much that you do not know. That is why you are a child. But children are made to learn, and in time they come to have dominion over the lands of their home. So it shall be with you and your generations.
Alright, so since we have the A, we can also come over here and open this up. There we go. Oh, crap. The one time, you know? Alright, now that we have A, we can open this up and use the elevator. Go up to the 0th floor. We're at negative
You have
right
proven
now.
yourself worthy, child, and this gate shall be forever open to you. Seek now the other worlds I have given you, that you may attain even greater mastery and bring glory to your kind. But remember, you must not ascend the great tower, for it shall bring death and the end of your generations.
There's no path to get over there. Here, gonna hear a computer. Get over there in a minute. There's all sorts of stuff, but nothing to really connect with. Alright, Athena 12. 12, the Council of Zeus. Corruption. The great bronze bulls pulled the carriage forward, mighty bursts of steam issuing from their nostrils. Finally they came to the gates at the top of corruption again. User.set. Here assembled the gods. No. Here assembled were all the many generations of the gods and demigods and souls of mortals, steel and bronze and iron, and memory of flesh. The clouds parted from far beneath, revealing the beautiful plains of Macedon, where great gleaming cities had once corruption. HIS1A _ Rome. Professor Dr. Armin Hulak, The Fall of the Roman Empire, a Dialectical Approach. Homo sum, humani nihil a me ilianum puto. But an interesting as such perspectives of the decline and ultimate dissolution of the Roman Empire may be, they ultimately put too much emphasis on individual catastrophic events. The real question that must be asked is why the Roman Empire, which had dealt with so many threats and catastrophes over these years, was so incapable of responding to the later problems. must investigate the division of wealth, the structure of government, the location of power in Roman society. Had the Republic survived or been restored, would Rome still have fallen? What was the role of debt and slavery in creating the conditions for what we now call the Dark Ages? Rome, the saying goes, was not built in a day, and it didn't fall in a day either. To register for the class, please email. Alright, so as we come outside, you can see the Great Tower in front of us, which has many levels, swirling up to a great, what almost looks like hurricane in the sky. An eye, if you will, looking forward, looking downward on us. Alright, over here we have B, which is rather interesting, and C, also interesting. We'll get to those later. The statues out in front of B, you'll notice, are sort of lion or sphinx-like. These aren't terribly like sphinxes, but in B we have, again, 7 connections, each with many sigils each. And we have another computer. Okay, so we have Oxyrhynchus. The great irony of the Oxyrhynchus papyri is that such a vital source of information about the ancient world exists only because of a garbage dump. While the Library of Alexandria burned at the hands of fanatics and conquerors, depriving us of unimaginable insights into history, philosophy, and art, the papers carelessly thrown away by the citizens of Oxyrhynchus survived to the modern day, and although it is true that a great deal of what we know today is because of the conscious efforts of individuals and organizations, such as the spectacular translation and preservation work done during the Islamic Golden Age, so much more is simply a result of coincidence and luck. We've lost texts that the ancients considered to be absolutely essential, while utterly trivial, even plagiarized work has survived unharmed. Corruption. So if we want our descendants to remember more than glittering emo vampires and auto-tuned teen pop stars, we have to invest in corruption. Make sure that corruption. Book of Osiris Wiki. The Book of the Scribe Osiris, sometimes also referred to as the Book of the Journey to Aru, is an ancient Egyptian text discovered in the excavation of Oxyrhynchus. It has caused a certain degree of controversy among Egyptologists, as some argue that it is a classic funerary text, such as the Book of Coming Forth by Day, while others believe it to be a poetic work not intended to be understood literally. The book tells us the story of a dying man who asks a scribe about the afterlife. The scribe, a servant of Osiris, describes how the man's Ka, or life force, will become separated from his Ba, personality, and how he will have to reunite the two and become an Akh, living intellect, passing a series of trials in the Duat, or underworld, in order to reach the paradise of Aru. Unlike similar texts, the Book of the Scribe of Osiris focuses less on giving advice or corruption. A recent study, Carnahan Hassan, suggests the text may have been intended as philosophical commentary on the world of the living through the allegory of Duat. It remains unclear whether this was the intent of the original pre-Alexandrian author or a result of later translation into Greek. The earlier manuscript, which is considered to be more authentic, is too fragmentary to provide answers, though perhaps further excavation may corrupt. So, B is going to be, B is going to be all about Egypt, as you can tell from that information. A little bit more information. Let's see. Heaven and Hell text files. Heaven. The mind is its own place, and in itself can make a heaven of hell, a hell of heaven. What matter where, if I still be the same, and what I should be, all but less than he whom thunder hath made greater. Here at last we shall be free. The Almighty hath not built here for this envy, here for his envy, will not drive us hence. Here we may reign secure, and in my choice, to reign is worth ambition, though in hell, better to reign in hell than serve in heaven. Hell, William Blake. The ancient tradition is that the world will be consumed in fire at the end of 6,000 years is true, as I have heard from hell. For the cherub with his flaming sword is hereby commanded to leave his guard at the tree of life, and when he does, the whole of creation will be consumed and appear infinite and holy, whereas now it appears finite and corrupt. This will come to pass by an improvement of sensual enjoyment. But first the notion that man has a body distinct from his soul is to be expunged. This I shall do by printing in the infernal method by corrosives, which in hell are salutary and medicinal, melting apparent surfaces away and displaying the infinite which was hid. William Blake, Collection, The Marriage of Heaven and Hell. Document code. We come up to the Great Tower. This must be the tower we were warned about. It seems the upper levels are locked tight. Elohim is taking no chances that we stray from his path. Sheep, version 69.1.0576. If we come in, there are actually floor numbers that we could go to, or we could walk upstairs. The voice keeps speaking to me. I can't get it out of my head. It's wrong. It's all wrong. A whole bunch of corrupted characters, version 0.0.0666, and listen to me very carefully. I have climbed this tower, and no good has come of it. This world is the only world. Elohim's will continue eternal, and paradise is banishing all of this from your mind. Samsara, version 72.14.0028N. All who say they made it to the top are blatantly lying, or they would say what was there. Dog, version 55.1.5744N. So as we run around, we just get back to the same place we started. And there was one door back here. It was covered in wooden blocks. Has some sort of spinny energy thingy. It's descriptive, I know. I try my best. And a bunker away in the back. There's a gold star behind this bunker, and an energy receptacle looks like. So, gotta get back here at some point and activate that energy beacon. Side. Sometimes you have to find the courage to break down the barriers with an axe. All your base, version 99.8.0048. So it'd be nice if we had an axe. Hopefully I didn't just leave one around. Okay. If we go around the back of B, so there is a section that goes down by the water. Nice, anyway. Doesn't appear to be anything down here. as we continue around, this is the base of A. Again, doesn't look like a whole lot. And now over to the base underneath C. There is a computer. Questioning doubt. Conf.txt. Confirmation. Keynote speech by N. Sarabai. Questioning doubt. They say doubt everything, but I disagree. Doubt is useful in small amounts, but too much of it leads to apathy and confusion. No, don't doubt everything. Question everything. That's the real trick. Doubt is just a lack of certainty. If you doubt everything, you'll doubt evolution, science, faith, morality, even reality itself, and you'll end up with nothing, because doubt doesn't give you anything back. But questions have answers, you see. If you question everything, you'll find that a lot of what we believe is untrue. But you might also discover that some things are true. You might discover what your own beliefs are, and then you question them again and again, eliminating flaws, discovering lies, until you get as close to the truth as you can. Questioning is a lifelong process. That's precisely what makes it so unlike doubt. Questioning engages with reality, interrogating all it sees. Questioning leads to a constant assault on the intellectual status quo, where doubt is far more likely to lead to resigned acceptance. After all, when the possibility of truth is doubtful, excuse the pun, why not simply play along with the most convenient lie? Questioning is progress, but doubt is stagnation. Him.email. From Bob Rakowski to Alexandra Drennan. Hi, Alex. Hey, Alex. I agree we need something that'll keep all the modules working together, evaluate something, a final test. And I think I have the perfect solution. It's called the Holistic Integration Manager. It's a fancy name for something a lot like a Dungeon Master and pen and paper RPGs. We created it to help run some MMOs back in the day. We needed something that would be able to unite procedurally generated and user-submitted content into a coherent whole so the game wouldn't become too chaotic and inconsistent. It's a genuine AI, somewhat limited in its ability to grow, but capable of parsing and understanding text, images, audio, and even video. It takes all the information it can find, interprets it, and then builds and maintains a world based on that. It's not perfect, but we don't have a lot of time, and it would be easy to adapt our code for that purpose. In fact, come to think of it, some of it is actually based on routines you suggested in that paper on... Some of you may be already seeing the hint here. Alright, partition.email. From Rob McLean to Ian Mailing List Archive Project. Subject EL Partition. Hi folks, this is just to let you know that for reasons of convenience and security, we partitioned EL into two separate systems. The Talos team will be working on EL0, while the archive team will be working on EL1. You might also notice that EL2 partition, but don't worry about that, it's just an operating system doing its thing. Cheers, Rob. And again, you may be noticing something. Alright. Yeah, I thought there was an axe around here. I was genuinely honest about that, not kidding. Anyway, I'm gonna go back into A and probably save, because this is a good spot to end for the night. Let's check how many stars we've got, because I think... Ooh, A. Get a whole bunch of sigils. So 2, 4, 6, 8. Need 10 stars out of this realm, which I believe is the total number, and I'll just have the one. So, we'll do 4, 5, 6, 7 probably next time that I do this. And I hope you've had a good time. This has been an interesting experiment. Alright, see you all later. Thanks. Take care of yourselves.